Listen, everybody needs a coach. One of the craziest ideas out there is let's just do it all on our own. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made was doing it on my own. I come from a culture and a color and a space in which we don't understand the concept of investing in other people, investing bigger dollars in other people. I remember once when I first brought home a book, and I was like, I'm gonna read a book, and I think it was in the personal development space, and I got a lot of flack from it. And I remember hearing like, oh, that person's a fraud, or all they do is take your money. And so I chucked that idea away. For the next couple of years, I started growing my business. Yes, I got to 6 figures, but the truth of the matter is every day was like I'm dying in these streets. And I remember the very first time I made an investment in myself, and it was huge. I made a 10K investment in myself. I had built a multiple 6-figure business, and it was good, I was grateful for it, but the truth is that I knew there was so much I didn't know, I knew there were other people out there who could take off a whole month off of work and still get paid and still pay their bills, and I was like, yo, are you kidding me? Like, if I ever stop working for 4 or 5 days, we're the lights are being turned off, even though I'm making 6 figures. That's the truth of being at 6 figures. I understood that I had built myself a job, and it used to drive me nuts. Now, real talk, when I made my first investment, I was so scared I couldn't even tell anybody. I was stupid scared because I knew that no one I knew was doing stuff like that. But I promise you, I look back today, millions and millions of dollars later that I've made, I've lost, all of things in between. I'm like, it's the smartest decision I ever made because someone gave me in 4 to 5 days everything that they had learned in the last 20 years. That means that I didn't have to go and spend that 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to do that. And if I didn't have to do that, that means I had a shot at actually winning. After going to that event, or making that investment, I should say, I legit hit 7 figures. I went from 0 to 7 figures in 10 months. And then I gave birth to my last daughter. And I think to myself all the time, if I had not made that investment, if I had not kept listening to other people, the truth of the matter is that number 1, you have to learn from someone else who is doing it or has done it. Number 2, you have to be able to connect to that person emotionally, not just strategy-wise, because then they're gonna really take you to a higher level, because they're gonna get at you spiritually and emotionally in the things that matter in your life, like your relationships, your marriage, your children, your dreams, your friends, your family, in addition to your money game. The third thing is that you can't do it alone. The number one thing that I didn't get after making that investment was community, which is why yes, I got to 7 figures, but I definitely at 7 figures, I squandered, and not squandered, but I definitely was like this still. I had built a team, I could take days off, there was cash, but I promise you there were still some tears at night. There were days I couldn't make payroll and I still felt alone at 7 figures. It wasn't until I understood the last piece, which was community. That's the thing that I didn't have. It was community. That's literally why I love this community, DT Nation, so much. Because it was the missing thing. Without community, you can't fly. You need the first 2, but you gotta have the 3. Real community, people who are not just like in a Facebook group or y'all see each other once a year. People who are like, they're ride or dying with you, They're helping you to figure things out. They're getting on a plane to come find you. You can call them late night. You can wake them up in the middle of the night. You can ask them to be by your bedside. They will wipe, you get sick and they will wipe your behind if they had to. That's literally what I have the great fortune of having in my life today. And that's how I'm able to stay so creative. That's the thing that people miss. And that's exactly why, yes, absolutely. You need to join. You need to say yes to a coach. You need to join a mastermind. You need to be part of a higher group of people so that you can be relentless, so that you can be nonstop, so that you can get to what you want completely, not just in dollars. Because we didn't come this far to come this far. That's exactly why I am so in love with connecting with people who share the same heart, in addition to running as fast as you do to make that dollar. It is the epitome of what I call relentless.